Good morning, everyone. Today I want to talk about a question that many people ask themselves, especially during difficult times. The question is, why shouldn't I suffer? Now that may sound like an unusual question. Most people ask, why am I suffering? But some people eventually reach a point where they begin to believe that suffering is simply their lot in life. They start thinking, maybe this is just how life is supposed to be. Maybe I deserve this. Maybe things will never get better. Maybe suffering is all I have left. If you've ever had thoughts like that, I want to speak directly to you today. Because the truth is, you're not created to live a life defined by suffering. Yes, suffering is a part of life. Suffering is not supposed to become your identity. Everyone experiences pain. First thing we need to understand is that pain is part of the human experience. Every person experiences loss, disappointment, heartbreak, illness, challenges, setbacks. No one gets through life without difficulty. Seniors know this better than most. You have lived long enough to experience both joy and sorrow. You have celebrated victories, and you have survived hardships. Pain is unavoidable, but living permanently defeated is not. You're more than your struggles. One of the greatest mistakes people make is allowing their suffering to define who they are. You may have diabetes, but you're more than diabetes. You may have anxiety, but you're more than anxiety. You may have depression, but you're more than depression. You may have lost loved ones, but you're more than your grief. You may have health challenges, but you're more than your diagnosis. The struggles are part of your story. They're not the whole story. Anxiety wants you to expect suffering. Anxiety has a way of convincing people that suffering is always waiting around the corner. It says something bad is going to happen. Prepare for the worst. Don't get your hopes up. Over time, some people begin expecting suffering so much that they stop looking for blessings. But life is not only hardship, life is also friendship, laughter, love, purpose, growth, hope. Do not allow anxiety to blind you to the good things that still exist. Depression wants you to accept defeat. Depression can be incredibly powerful. It often tells people nothing will change, nothing matters, things will never improve. But depression does not tell the whole truth. Many people who once felt hopeless eventually found hope again. Many people who felt broken eventually found healing. Many people who felt defeated eventually found purpose. Your current struggle does not determine your future. There are still chapters left in your story. Why shouldn't you suffer alone? Even if suffering enters your life, you should never face it alone. Too many seniors suffer in silence. They don't tell anyone they are struggling. They hide their fears. They hide their sadness. They hide their worries. But healing often begins when we share our burdens. Talk to someone. Reach out. Accept support. Allow people to care for you. You do not have to carry every burden by yourself. Diabetes and daily challenges. For seniors dealing with diabetes, life can sometimes feel overwhelming. There are medications, diet changes, appointments, exercise routines, blood sugar monitoring. Some days it may feel like a constant battle. But diabetes is something you manage. It's not a life sentence to misery. Many seniors continue to enjoy meaningful, active, fulfilling lives while managing diabetes successfully. Do not allow diagnosis to steal your hope. You deserve peace. Some people become so accustomed to struggle that they stop believing they deserve peace. But you do deserve peace. You deserve moments of joy. You deserve friendship. You deserve laughter. You deserve purpose. You deserve rest. You deserve hope. Life may not always be easy. That doesn't mean you must surrender to suffering. Suffering can teach, but it should not rule. Sometimes suffering teaches valuable lessons. It can teach compassion, patience, resilience, gratitude, faith. But suffering is a teacher. It's not supposed to be your permanent residence. Learn the lesson, gain the wisdom, develop the strength, then continue moving forward. Do not build your life around pain. Build your life around purpose. Your life still has meaning. One reason you should not surrender to suffering because your life still matters. You still have wisdom to share. You still have people to encourage. You still have experiences to enjoy. You still have opportunities to make a difference. As long as you're breathing, there's purpose ahead. Never allow suffering to convince you otherwise. Look for what is still good. One of the most powerful habits you can develop is learn to look for what is still good. Maybe your health isn't perfect, but perhaps you can still walk. Maybe life isn't exactly what you planned, but perhaps you still have people who love you. Maybe you have experienced loss, but perhaps you still have precious memories. There's almost always something worth appreciating. Gratitude helps us see it. Faith through the hard times. Many seniors have discovered that faith becomes especially important during difficult seasons. Faith reminds us that pain is not permanent. Faith reminds us that hope still exists. Faith reminds us that difficult chapters are not the end of the story. Faith does not always remove suffering, but it helps us endure it without losing ourselves. As I close today, I want you to remember this. You will experience hardship. You will face challenges. You will encounter difficult seasons. That is part of life. But suffering does not get to define you. You're stronger than your struggles. You're greater than your setbacks. You're more than your diagnosis. You're more than your pain. And you're certainly more than your suffering. So when life becomes difficult, don't ask only, why am I suffering? I also ask, what can I learn? How can I grow? How can I help someone else? How can I keep moving forward? Because your story is bigger than your struggle. Your purpose is bigger than your pain. And your future is bigger than your current circumstances. Keep believing, keep hoping, keep growing, and keep living. Thank you, and may God bless each and every one of you. Every move matters. Have a great day, everyone.